Hello, world. Hello, world, and welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. We're broadcasting live from the Joy Virtual Studio right here in the beautiful Finger Lakes region of New York State. It is Monday, June 29th, and we are launching yet another very, very busy broadcast week. I hope you all had a lovely weekend. Big thank you to Tiffany Cianci, who guest hosted the Shannon Joy Show on Friday. She did an absolutely amazing job. And we held a big party for my daughter, Mimi, who graduated from high school. Thank you, Jesus. This is over. We had multiple graduations, National Honor Society, Technical National Honor Society, graduation parties, the planning for the graduation parties. She needed a new dress for every single thing that happened. And it was just crazy. I feel free as a bird because it's all over. We worked very hard last week to put it together, and Tiffany Cianci came in and just really did me a huge solid with an amazing show. So thank you to Tiffany for guest hosting the SJ show last Friday. You guys see the headline today. We have Peter Schiff once again here in the Joy Virtual Studio. He is our favorite economist, the most truthful economist out there. And you see the headline of today's show: Sell America trading is now accelerating while China buys the gold dip. Is the world betting against the USA? We have an exclusive with Peter Schiff today. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is crashing, and Donald Trump says he loves inflation despite the crushing impact on American households. Today, we're going to sit down with Peter Schiff for a full hour. He is an outspoken economist, a gold advocate, and Bitcoin's most persistent critic. And recently, he has been absolutely demolishing MicroStrategy's stunning pivot, as Michael Saylor just announced a Bitcoin Monetization Program, authorizing up to $3.25 billion in Bitcoin sales for cash reserves, dividends, debt, and massive stock buybacks. Peter is now warning that this is turning MicroStrategies from Bitcoin's biggest buyer into its biggest seller, potentially triggering the very crash that he has long predicted. Bitcoin, the Ponzi scheme in plain sight. Peter Schiff has been calling this from the very beginning, and it all seems to be crashing and burning. So we're going to be talking about that and other news, financials, and the economy in just about 2 minutes. We're going to bring Peter in. Hello to everyone who is watching right now on the live chat. We are live on Rumble, live on Twitter, Spreely TV, Roku TV, and Apple TV. We are available on every podcast platform. And if you're watching right now on Rumble, please give the show a thumbs up. Say hello on the live chat. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome to the SJ Show. We're on YouTube, Substack, and Facebook as well, growing the SJ platform every single day. Not left, not right, just the truth, straight up, no chaser. Politics, culture, commentary, you name it, we hit it every day on the SJ Show, and we do this show live. So Mrs. Lovely, it's great to see you on the live chat. Ollie Robin 9 is with us as well. Hey, Edgar 615, great to see you today. Buskman is with us as well. And Lou Melcom, again, those comments, thumbs up, and likes helps to push out that algorithm and helps us to grow this show organically and independently. We've been doing this now for 13 years. Absolutely amazing. Big announcement today, right after we let Peter go. We're going to go to about 1 p.m. with Peter today. Then we'll close up the show. I'm going to be hopping straight from the Shannon Joy live show onto Alex Jones's live show. I have a full hour interview with Alex Jones today, 1:30 to 2:30. Have no idea where that interview is going to go. I don't know why Alex Jones wants to interview me. I've been a critic of his for quite some time from a constitutional and liberty perspective, especially considering the support for Donald Trump over the years. But I've been thrilled to see that Alex has pivoted, really pushing out a lot of truth right now, giving our girl Tiffany Cianci a huge platform on his platforms. So that should be interesting. We're going to be rating Alex Jones's show here on Rumble, and then I'm going to close down this show, hop onto Alex's show, and buckle up. It's going to be a very fun ride. So with that being said, I think we have all of the housekeeping done for today. Tomorrow, we do have Nick Holscher on the SJ Show live for a medical freedom update and a couple other good topics for this week as well. So I don't want to waste any more time, however, with my introduction, because we have an amazing guest here in the Joy Virtual Studio. Once again, welcome to Peter Schiff. He is the host of the Peter Schiff Show. He is an economist of the Austrian perspective, free market, and a regular on the SJ Show. Hey, great to see you, Peter. How you doing?
I am okay. Nice to see you, and give my regards to Alex.
I don't know where this. I have no idea where this interview is going to go, and but I'm thrilled. You know, I love building
Yeah.
bridges. I love aligning with people who are in a truth space. It's very hard to find the truth these days in politics and culture, the news left and right, and really hard to navigate that. So I think we're gonna have an interesting conversation.
Yeah, yeah, and it should be entertaining and fun, so enjoy it.
So, Peter Schiff, you have been the Ponzi scheme in plain sight. Let's start with Bitcoin. Major new strategy. Michael Saylor, the Bitcoin evangelist and the top of the Ponzi scheme, just announced his Bitcoin monetization program a couple weeks ago. You said the signals are all there. It's over for Bitcoin. It's over for MicroStrategy. This is a death spiral. And what you've been predicting now for the past few years seems to be playing out. What are your thoughts about where we are right now for Bitcoin as we get this conversation started?
Yeah, I think this is really kind of the beginning of the end, where now strategy has kind of acknowledged that it's going from a Bitcoin buyer to a Bitcoin seller. Now it's trying to put a positive spin on that, but that is the reality when they now have authorization to sell 3.25 billion worth of Bitcoin, which, as the price goes down, that will require more and more Bitcoin to be sold. But even at the current price of Bitcoin, 60,000, it's slightly below that, but that's 54,000 Bitcoin. And, he started a big sell off in Bitcoin when he announced he sold 32.
Right. Right.
And then he had to quickly buy back more than that to prove that he wasn't selling. Well, now they're going to be selling. And there are three purposes for the sale. One is to build up a bigger cash reserve out of which to pay its obligations to the preferred shareholders. And it increased the dividend today on stretch from 11.5 to 12. Of course, if you bought it on Friday, you're getting a 17% yield. But the people who bought it at 100, they're still getting 12. But now that increases the obligation, the net cash burn on strategy. But it's going to sell Bitcoin to pay those obligations, to build up a bigger reserve for those obligations, and to buy back stock, both preferred, that's trading at a big discount to par,
Mhm.
and common, that is trading at a huge discount to the Bitcoin that backs it up. And so this is significant because the biggest buyer of Bitcoin, a company that spent $60 billion buying Bitcoin, that owns 4% of the supply, 5% of the actual supply, because you really can't count the the 250,000 that Satoshi's wallet owns that, have never been used. It's a lot of Bitcoin. And I know some people say, well, relative to the average trading volume, it's not, that huge. The difference is most of that trading volume is buying and selling. It's not net buying.
Right.
So if he's going to be selling this much Bitcoin, not to traders who are just buying and selling it 10 times a day, but
Mhm.
to somebody who's going to keep it, it's enormous.
Mm.
And it's not just going to be strategy selling, because a lot of the private buying was done based on the knowledge that strategy was going to be there buying and supporting the market. So
Right.
that would give you a lot of confidence to buy if you know there's this huge buyer that's going to keep coming in. But once you now recognize that that buyer is now a seller, that's an incentive to get out now
Right.
rather than just holding on while he drives the market lower. So I think that, the market really is kind of like relieved because the news has caused a bid to come into to stretch and strategy the stock. Bitcoin is, basically down slightly. It's hanging in there around 59,600 right now.
Okay.
But I think there will be a delayed reaction to this, just like there was to the original sale of 32. It didn't immediately tank, but over the ensuing days, it did as people
Mhm.
started to, contemplate what that portends. This is much bigger.
Mhm.
And I've been pointing out another liability that strategy has that is going to start to be built in to the stock, but also into Bitcoin, is the legal liability for the
Mm.
material false and misleading statements that Saylor has made over the past year promoting Stretch. In fact, I was just listening to an interview today that was recorded a few weeks ago, but he talked about it as a bank account with no worries and no volatility, that pays 10%. So he's telling people that his highly risky securities are as safe as a government guaranteed bank account. They don't have to
Wow.
worry about anything. They've got no risk. Well, they're down 20, 30%. So obviously that wasn't a true statement. He is not just, some guy, hyping Bitcoin. He is the executive chairman of a publicly traded SEC regulated company.
Right.
And so he is held to a certain standard regarding, fraud and, things like that. So I think the investors who relied on these statements, and of course, even if they didn't rely on them, they're going to say they relied on them. It's pretty obvious, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So in these class action lawsuits, everybody says, yes, I relied on Saylor's statements.
Right.
And no, I didn't read the prospectus, and I don't even understand what a preferred stock is. I just trusted Saylor.
Right.
Um, they are going to win judgments.
Mm.
And so the collective judgments could be in the billions, maybe higher. And I think it's not just going to be the stretch shareholders.
Yeah.
Remember, strategy stock fell 85%.
Mhm.
So a lot of people have lost a lot of money in strategy. But I think they have shareholder lawsuits accusing Saylor of stock manipulation and a lot of the comments that he made that were hyping up the stock, which were completely unfounded. These pie in the sky 10 million, 20 million Bitcoin forecasts,
Right.
mortgage your house, leverage your business, max out your credit cards, sell your organs,
Yeah.
buy Bitcoin. All this stuff is not going to look good either in front of a jury, or with a judge or arbitration. However, these claims are ultimately adjudicated, you know, and juries, tend to award not only what you lose, but damages and punitive damages.
Mhm.
So who knows the judgments that are going to be coming against strategy from multiple law firms.
Right.
So,
You know,
and the only way that he can satisfy these judgments, whether he settles the lawsuits or ways to lose, is by selling more Bitcoin.
mm,
So
yeah.
that's a lot of Bitcoin that's coming on the market. I don't know who the new big buyer is to take the other side.
Well, and here is one of the things that is so extraordinary about the Bitcoin story. We have had over the past year and a half one of the biggest hype campaigns I've ever witnessed in my life for Bitcoin. We had, Donald Trump Jr., the Trump administration using the bully pulpit and the power of the presidency to pump up Bitcoin as part of this new scheme to usher us into some type of digital currency system. We had both left and right wing news media propping up this guy. Here is a guy who is actually telling people to sell an organ so that they can buy Bitcoin. And these news stations, economists, people who are supposed to be serious, are pumping him up, pushing this out. It was a massive campaign. I know for a fact that influencers were paid to push Bitcoin. I know that for a fact that I was attacked by a bot and troll army about a year and a half ago when I found you. I mean, I've always been using you as a source for my show, but it was your outspoken truth telling about Bitcoin that led me to like reach out to you and say, you have to come on my show and we have to talk about these things. Because I remember being attacked. I just popped my head out and was like, I think I said something along the lines of, I think that Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme on social media. And I was literally, I mean, dumped on.
Blasphemy.
It is. Oh, and Bitcoin is a cult. These people.
Yes, well, it is. It is. And I will tell you, look, the big promotional effort on the part of the Trump administration and the Bitcoin industry was effective in that a lot of people got suckered into buying Bitcoin. Now, the question is, why didn't the price go up with all that buying?
Right.
And that's because the people who are behind the efforts to get Trump to promote it, including Trump himself and his family, they were the sellers. That's how pump and dumps work.
It's awful.
The people that are hyping it up are the ones that are selling into the hype. And the buyers become the bag holders. And that's what's going to happen. A lot of Bitcoin over the last year has gone from the early, buyers to the guys who just bought because of Trump and because of all the hype surrounding the Bitcoin presidency and the Bitcoin strategic reserve. And, I mean, there was a reason that the crypto industry was the biggest spender during the 2024 campaign.
That's right.
What were they buying for their money? It was not favorable regulation. What they wanted was legitimization of the asset they were trying to sell. They were looking for buyers. They needed more buyers. And the Trump administration helped provide them with that hype because now all of a sudden, hey, the president of the United States wants Bitcoin to succeed.
Right.
In fact, his whole family now is in the Bitcoin business. Duh. He's obviously going to do whatever he can. He's going to use the presidency of the United States to make Bitcoin go up. I'm going to buy it. I want to go along on that ride, right? I want to be with the president. And but now those people are in a lot of trouble.
Right.
Because everybody's in.
Yes.
And the other big buyer was Strategy. Strategy's a seller. And now the other buyers, you have all these other Bitcoin treasury funds that followed in his footsteps. I think they're not going to be big buyers anymore. They may start being sellers of Bitcoin. No more Bitcoin treasury companies are going to be formed, given the big failure now of Strategy. And in fact, Saylor is much bigger and much more well-known than Sam Bankman-Fried was. This is bad publicity for Bitcoin. This is going to tarnish the image of Bitcoin as this guy gets sued, as the stock collapses, as this whole Ponzi unravels. So
it's terrible.
It's ending. It's coming. And a lot of money is going to get lost. In fact, the money was already lost. The people who lost it just don't know it yet.
Right.
They lost it when they bought their Bitcoin.
Yes. Well,
they just think they still have it because of the market price, but the price is going to implode.
That was a gross abuse of power. And this is an abuse of power by the president of the United States of America. And this normalization of this abuse of power is something that is very unique to the Trump administration. At least the Biden administration and Hunter Biden did their dirty business in secret, right? They actually tried to hide the access deals, the pay to plays, the pump and dumps. You mentioned, the Bitcoin was unique because it was a Ponzi in plain sight. They admitted it was a Ponzi from the very beginning. That was the nature of it, but it was operating in plain sight. I've done many shows on the Trump administration, essentially normalizing and promoting corruption, blatant corruption in our faces. And normalizing that. It's like normalizing the efforts of a criminal cartel in a position of power. I mean, they're just doing it front facing, which is so crazy.
the hypocrisy, is horrible. Yes, the Bidens, I believe the Bidens were corrupt. I criticized their corruption, but at least they had the decency to launder their money through shell companies. I mean, they knew that it was illegal, and the amount of money that was involved was very small compared to this. Hunter Biden would sell his art, like whatever the hell he was doing, and people would buy it. And obviously, they weren't buying Hunter's art; they were buying access to his father.
Yep.
But the way they got that access was to buy some crap art that this guy drew, whatever it was, a Hunter Biden original. But Trump coin was created not only to enrich Trump and his wife, just initially on all this coins being bought, these worthless tokens, but he created a bribing mechanism where if you wanted a favor from Trump, you didn't have to give him any money directly. You just buy his coin, which he is selling into the market. And then all you have to do is show proof in your wallet how much Trump coin you bought. In fact, he was having all these events at the White House for the top holders of his token. You could deliver it. You could actually buy access. Imagine if a president basically said, hey, we're going to have a dinner at the White House and you have to buy a ticket and you have to write a check to me personally. You write it, and whoever writes me the biggest check can come to my White House dinner. That's basically what he did.
Yeah.
It's so blatant. It's so, and I think that was, when Donald Trump ran for office and he said, look, I can kill somebody on Fifth Avenue and nobody's going to care. He's so arrogant and he's gotten away with it. His base doesn't give a shit about this. He probably said, look, I'm just going to make it so bad that nobody could possibly believe it because I'm just going to be out front about it.
Yeah.
His kids established a club in DC, like the Capitol Club. I forget the name of it.
Right.
And in order to be a member of this basically restaurant, you have to pay $500,000 to the Trumps to get a membership. And then what do you get when you're there? Well, members of his cabinet eat there. So you can be in the same restaurant. Now, why is it worth $500,000 plus dues? You got to pay dues for this restaurant. It's basically a bribery restaurant.
Yes, it is.
And it just, they don't care.
Yeah.
And then Trump goes around the world. He goes to the Middle East and they make deals where these other countries have to invest in businesses that Trump is involved in. His personal family businesses. And then Trump says, okay, you can have this deal with the US government. He accepted that jet to him personally. It's not even to the United States. It's, because when he's no longer president, the jet goes to his library. It doesn't even stay there for the next president.
Yeah. So
look, it is an unparalleled level of corruption and self-enrichment. And Trump says, hey, I'm not in this for the money. Look, I don't take my salary.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, who doesn't care about his $400,000 a year salary? That's just a gesture to make it look like this is not a money grab.
16.
Which is what it is. And then, he negotiated this deal with himself, with the IRS, that basically says that my family and I, or any of our God knows how many companies, can never be audited for anything we've done in the past. We can't be fined. Oh, you didn't read about that one?
No. What?
Yeah. They basically got a complete pardon for whatever they may have done. Doesn't look. It is absolutely ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So yeah, and God knows what the Democrats are going to do when they come in, because they're going to know. Okay, these are the rules now.
Yeah.
If anything goes here, because they've been stealing from government, ever since I've been alive. But they've been hiding it. They thought this is wrong. You're not allowed to do this, so let's not get caught. Now it's like we don't have to worry about getting caught. We can do whatever the hell we want.
Yeah.
It's like,
This is unlike anything that we've ever seen. Here's the latest one, New York Times. Trump cut $1 billion mining deal. His sons now stand to profit. This is from New York Times. We got to go to the New York Times for actual reporting because Fox News won't do anything.
Yeah, that's how bad it is.
That's how bad it is right now. An agreement between the U.S. and Kazakhstan has given a group of American investors with ties to the president and Commerce Secretary Lutnick access to one of the world's largest untapped reserves of tungsten. And this is insanely crazy. Full write-up. I linked that in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show. It's just...
Yeah, I remember there was that article about Howard Lutnick's firm was buying up all the claims to tariff refunds because he knew this stuff was unconstitutional. So he was buying up all the claims, knowing that once the tariffs were declared unconstitutional, he could go get the refund money.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Crazy. We're going to have to take a break. We're going to wrap up this Bitcoin thing. The only other thing about Bitcoin that is just so wildly unstable to me, which I've always noticed, is you mentioned Satoshi, like the super secret holder of an enormous amount of Bitcoin. No one knows who he is. No one knows where it is, but literally one rug pull and it's over. I mean, this is, to me, that was always the key to this whole thing, right? Like it's
that Genesis wallet, right? That's the initial wallet.
Yeah.
The assumption is that it belonged to Satoshi, but clearly, if that is the case, then Satoshi is dead, because there's no way that if I was Satoshi and I created Bitcoin, that I would sit back for 17, 18 years and never sell a single sat. Mm-hmm. And I would just sit there with $50 billion worth of supposed purchasing power and not buy anything for myself. So something, obviously, I don't know, something must have happened to whoever owns that wallet. But the question is anybody ever going to get the key? Is it ever going to be accessed? And if it is accessed, then it's going to be sold. Right. I mean, obviously they're going to start selling it, whoever gets control over it, because it's not worth anything if it's just Bitcoin. Well, you can't do anything with Bitcoin. So the only thing you can do is if you sell the Bitcoin, then you can do stuff.
Yeah.
But that means somebody else has to buy it from you. So
do you think there's any relevance to the rumor that Bitcoin was actually created by the CIA or the government or intelligence?
I doubt it.
Yeah,
I doubt that. I mean, I don't know if anybody in the government is that smart.
Is it really that smart though? Like it's
well,
a fake coin.
I don't think anybody could have foreseen this. Look, I think whoever created it, if his name was Satoshi, obviously that's kind of like a made up name, right? I mean, that's not the guy.
Oh, totally. Some people say Jeffrey Epstein is Satoshi.
But look, it was very clever.
Right.
The whole concept, the blockchain, it was very, very clever what was created.
Yeah.
But I don't think that whoever created it thought it would get to this size. I mean, maybe they did. It's just kind of like you just kind of float this thing out there and like see what happens.
Yeah. We've had Aaron Day on the show. Oh, go ahead.
But I would have thought that maybe something happened to this guy like early on, like really early on, before it even took off. So he's got like no idea. Because otherwise, I would have imagined that he would have been selling Bitcoin, at $100 or $200. I mean, it still was a lot of money. He would have sold something.
Yeah, interesting. All right, today we're talking to Peter Schiff. He is the host of the Peter Schiff Show at Peter Schiff Podcast, one of the best economic analysts out there. I've been using his work for years. You can follow him on Twitter as well. Follow his YouTube channel. And when we come back, we are going to continue this discussion. We're going to pivot from Bitcoin and we're going to talk about Sell America. It's this type of trading that is accelerating. They're looking at the dollar. They're looking at the corruption in Washington, D.C. They're looking at all the money printing, and more of the world is saying, hey, we don't want to be linked to this anymore. This is accelerating. And interesting, the gold and silver market's crazy. I mean, we have to talk about gold and silver with you because it's been wild. Gold and silver is not doing what a lot of people expected it to do in the face of more money printing and, more inflation. But just recently, China bought the dip. So they imported 163 tons of gold in May, making the largest monthly import since March of 2024. So what's going on with those markets? Want to hear from you on that as well. We'll be back in a moment. Keep it tuned right here on the Shannon Joy Show. Hey everyone, I just want to take a moment to thank one of my longtime friends, associates, my financial advisor, and a beloved sponsor of the Shannon Joy Show, Don Polano over at PCM and Associates. Don Polano, as many of you know, was the very first Shannon Joy Show advertiser almost 12 years ago, and he's been with us ever since. I trust Don Polano. He manages some of my assets and my retirement fund, and he's offering his services to all of you. He can take clients anywhere in the country and even across the globe over at PCM and Associates. And as you guys know, it is so important today. There's so much volatility and chaos. You need a human being, a person that you trust, and a person that shares your values. And that's Don Polano at PCM and Associates. So if you are looking for someone to help you manage your retirement or have investment advice, please consider calling Don Polano over at PCM and Associates. His number, 1-800-536-1368. That's 1-800-536-1368. And of course, you can go to PCMPolano.com. That is PCMPolano.com to learn about all of his services and get in contact with his team. Again, so thankful for Don Polano at PCM and Associates, and I think that you are really going to appreciate his services. So that number again, 1-800-536-1368 for a financial advisor that you can trust. All right, make sure that every time you shop at the satellite phone store, sat123.com/joy, joy, that is sat123.com/joy, you are using the JOY promo code. That is going to get you at least 10% off your entire order. And if you're looking at products like generators or solar panels, if you're looking at a satellite phone and you're going to get a satellite phone subscription, those could be upwards over thousands of dollars. So that 10% discount is going to be huge. But they do have the entire line of Faraday products, the dark bags. So these are amazing. The Faraday technology not only protects you from harmful EMF radiation, but it also protects your phone from an EMP attack or any type of breakdown. So great products. The Faraday collection also shields you, protects you from the prying eyes of the federal government or the big tech bros. That's right. When you drop your phone or your device into a satellite phone store Faraday bag or backpack, you're off the grid. You are untraceable. They can't find you. And it gives you that added element of privacy while also protecting you from those harmful EMF radiation rays. So just really great technology, the best out there, and at the best prices when you use that JOY promo code. So sat123.com/joy. That is sat123.com/joy. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. We are joined by the great Peter Schiff today. Just a quick reminder before we bring Peter back in, I'm going to be live with Alex Jones in just about 45 minutes. I'm going to be joining him on his live show right here on Rumble at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. So we're going to end the SJ show. I'm going to raid his audience, and I want all of you guys to follow me over there. Full hour. Have no idea how this interview is going to go, but it's going to be very, very interesting. So a rare 2 hours of the Shannon Joy Show today-ish only. I'll be joining Alex Jones. That should be pretty interesting. If you guys are watching right now on Rumble, do me a favor. Give this show a thumbs up right now. Follow the SJ Show and join me on the live chat. Say hello. I want to say hello to all of the new names that I see. I see you, Mark the Regan, Mod Trend, Mab 2022. Great to see you. Clones is with us. We have CJP Rumble, of course, as well. Guitar Lily, great to see you. Some of you are saying that my mic is a little wonky today. I apologize for that. It appears I'm using the correct mic, but some of you are saying you think it's coming through the computer. Really not sure what I can do about that, but I think everything is all set. So we're going to continue with our interview with Peter Schiff, who's with us today. I'm going to bring him in. And hey, Peter, if you can think to retweet our show on X for max views. You have a massive audience, 1.5 million followers on X alone. How big is your network, by the way? I mean, you have your podcast, you have a huge YouTube audience.
Did you already post it on your channel?
I posted it on my channel, but you have like 175,000 times the number of followers on
I see it. All right, so here I'm reposting it now. So now,
so now we're gonna get max view. I mean,
but yeah, I've been adding followers. You know, I'm closer now to 1.6 million than 1.5, but I've been adding 3,000-4,000 followers a day recently. So it's picking up. Yeah. I still got a ways to go though to catch up. You know, there's a lot of people have a lot more followers than me, but not necessarily in my industry. Usually, when you have either you're an entertainer, you're an athlete, you're a singer, so there's not that many serious, cerebral, some politicians that are kind of famous have you have some of them that have bigger followings, but yeah, in the financial industry, there's not that many, right? So I'm getting more influential on that platform. I know a lot of people regularly, read what I post. I know a lot of journalists now. I used to talk to journalists and stuff, and now they just read my X account and they just quote directly from it. So if I do just all the time, Google my name, I see, Yahoo Finance or Benzinga, or, MSN or all these different, not really the convention, not like the New York Times is quoting me, or the Washington Post, but, a lot of these online, they look at my X account and they republish my takes. So I get, I get exposure that way. And I know there's a lot of engagement.
Yeah, just to pause you for a moment, like just so you guys are, everyone who's watching right now, the commentary is phenomenal. Like I use Peter Schiff. We have him come into the Joy Virtual Studio about once a month for shows like this and analysis. But, Peter is doing updates weekly. He is writing, he's doing his podcast. This is some of the best information on what is going on in the economy you will find anywhere. It's very rare. This is why he's not on mainstream news media, not being platformed on mainstream news media. He's telling the truth on a lot of things regarding what's happening in this economy, and he's calling out the fraud. And he's calling out the administration. Yeah.
I used to write a lot of essays and publish some, and at one time I was writing books,
Yep.
But now I just write on X, and I just immediately get my thoughts out there.
Yep.
And there's also a lot of engagement on my platform, because there's a lot of Peter Schiff fans and there's a lot of trolls.
Oh yeah.
A lot of them come from the Bitcoin community, but so they argue with each other. So there's a lot of engagement. So I get a lot of comments on a post.
Yeah.
I get a lot of, likes or, different things. In fact, I think I have one of the most reposted. I know it was the #1 post on that day, and it was still years ago.
Wow.
But it was the most. I had like 50 million engagements.
Wow.
And it was the one where I said, doesn't Zelensky have a suit? I thought it was disrespectful that he testified before Congress in a T-shirt.
Right.
And the left was all over me.
That's crazy.
And I got roasted. Of course, once Trump became president, he said the same thing. You want to come talk to me, wear a suit.
Right.
That's what I said, and when I said it, and it wasn't just on X. All the journalists, mainstream journalists, jumped all over me to say, how dare I say that this guy put on a suit to respect, they were like, oh, but he's in war. I'm like, no, he's not. He's not in a foxhole. He's in a studio.
War.
He's got lights. He's got his beard is professionally cut. He's got a makeup on. He
Yep.
can't put on a suit. He's doing all that stuff. He can't put a
That's
suit on. He's got a short
ridiculous.
sleeve T-shirt, and
Mm-hmm.
he's addressing Congress, a joint session of Congress,
Yeah,
asking us for money. Put on a suit. You can ask for money.
100%.
At
Well,
least your
I mean, but
dress
that's why people love
uniform,
you. This is why
right? They
people
have
love
a
you.
dress uniform in the
Yeah,
army, right? Put on your dress
yeah.
uniform. Don't wear your suit, your T-shirt from the gym
Well,
like you're just going to the gym.
I know it's ridiculous, but you tell it like it is, and that's why people like you. And you're real, and this is what makes me very difficult to get to the truth these days in a lot of things. And right now, I mean, it's the economy, stupid. This is the number one thing. President Trump's numbers are plummeting. The Republicans are likely going to get annihilated in the midterms. Nobody has any money, Peter. Okay, everyone's broke. Gas is too high. Energy's too high. Clothes are too high. Food is too high. Like inflation is out of control. Trump
And in
loves
fact,
inflation.
now, Shannon, I don't know if you noticed this, but just last week, Apple raised all their prices, the most they've ever increased prices since the company
Unbelievable.
began, like
Really.
15 to 25% on every product.
Right.
Xbox, so that's where consumers got relief. Consumer electronics was the stuff that got cheaper, or at least didn't
Yep.
go up.
Hmm.
Now it's going up more than other things. So
Yeah.
there's no relief in sight anywhere.
Well, and this is weird things are happening. I want to talk about gold and silver, where what you think is going on. Again, China in May with a massive gold order, and this new philosophy of selling American stocks, betting against essentially the United States of America and our economy. And this is gaining some traction in international markets and across the globe. And once the globe dumps the dollar, and we know that there's an agenda to try to do that, de-dollarization, they want to try to do that. It's the wild, wild west. I don't even know what to
Yeah.
anticipate. But what are your
I
thoughts
mean,
on what's going on?
there are people that are saying that the sell America trade is over now, with Kevin Warsh and a rebound in the dollar. But no, I mean, in fact, I was watching an interview yesterday with Jeff Gundlach, who, is kind of a little bit like me, but, in the mainstream, they respect Gundlach.
Hmm.
He's a big bond manager.
Yeah.
I'm just like a fringe, gloom and doom guy that, doesn't get, at least publicly. There are a lot of people that, secretly are fans of mine, like Gunlock and stuff like that. But
It's
he, but,
hilarious.
he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And, and he was talking about his recommendation for U.S. stock market investors. And he said that his recommendation would be that U.S. Americans who invest in stocks, and he thought it should be about 40% of your portfolio, but he said it should be 100% foreign, no U.S. exposure, all foreign stocks, and no hedging the currency. Get out of the dollar, get out of the U.S. stock market, which of course is exactly what I've been saying for many years. So he agrees with me, or I agree with him, however you want to frame it. But
Wow.
but I think that that's going to be a real trade. I mean, I think that, and it beat the U.S. market last year. It's beating it this year. I mean, I think foreign stocks are cheap compared to the U.S., especially emerging markets,
Yep.
and I think they have a long way to run.
Hmm.
I don't think the gold trade is anywhere near ending. Yes, gold's at 4,000, and it did hit 5,600 in February,
Yep.
and we had a big pullback. In hindsight, I think I can explain what happened. Obviously, when you have the benefit of hindsight. So gold went from 3,000 to 5,600 in just a couple of months. It was a
Yep.
very, very quick rally,
Hmm.
especially the tail end of it, where it went from 4 to 5,600. I mean, and that's
Yes.
when silver broke out finally. It went from 30 to 120. Right?
Yep.
So that we'd never seen anything like that, really, that kind of rise. Towards the tail end of that rally, the market started to price in war with Iran before it was declared. It was pretty obvious based on the troop buildup that something was going to go down in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so gold started pricing that in. So when the war finally broke out, it was a buy the rumor, sell the fact. So you had the initial sell off in gold. Gold went all the way back down to 4,100
Right.
right away. Then it snapped back to like 4,800, didn't make new high. Then started to pull back. And then Kevin Warsh shows up with this, I'm going to get medieval on inflation. We're going to bring it down to 2%.
Right.
That's our only objective. We're going to do whatever it takes. Like somehow he's the reincarnation of Paul Volcker now all of a sudden. The gold market got scared of that, hey, we're going to get all these rate hikes, because now the markets have gone from expecting rate cuts to expecting rate hikes.
Mm-hmm.
And that caused money to come out of gold. Silver, we had a big drop. Gold's back down around 4,000. Silver is actually back below $60. Half of its peak price. That also scared a lot of people. The sentiment has gone from, all of a sudden it got very bullish near the highs after being bearish for a couple of years. And now it's right back up to maximum bearishness again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great backdrop for the next leg of this bull market. Silver is a major breakout. I think, it broke out of 50. That was the high from 1980.
Yeah.
It overshot, but now it's, I think we're going much, much higher after this correction ends. We're trading above the old resistance. The old resistance is the new support. Classic bull market action. $4,000 gold. If you didn't know gold hit 5,600, if you've been asleep for a year, you would think gold's doing great at 4,000.
Right.
And when you look at what's going to happen in the next several years, I don't believe the tough wash. I don't believe he's going to come out shooting. I think that the rate hikes are probably not going to happen.
Right.
And even if they did happen, they're too little too late, because inflation is going to rise more than the hikes. So real rates are going to fall. The deficits are exploding right now, out of control. Interest on the debt. We're going to be at a $40 trillion debt soon, and then 50 trillion before you know it. They're going to be having massive pressures on debt monetization. In fact, Jeff Gundlach, in that same interview, raised a risk that I've been talking about for more than a decade. I don't know when he started talking about it, but I've been talking about it for over a decade. And that is the risk that instead of a default, the U.S. Treasury just reduces the coupon on its debt or extends the maturities, or both. So meaning you buy a 2-year Treasury with a 4% yield coupon, and you wake up in the morning and the government said, hey, that 2-year Treasury, that doesn't expire for 30 years. Now you got a 30-year bond. Oh, and by the way, we're not going to pay you 4% for 30 years. We're only going to pay you 1%. Right. So, because the government has to do something, because they can't pay. It's too big. So there's got to be a way to default. The only alternative is massive inflation. But under either scenario, gold's going way up.
Right.
First, it'll go up even more if we just have hyperinflation.
Right.
But, if the U.S. starts defaulting on its debt, that's also going to be good for gold.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be huge. I had Ed Dowd on my show about a week and a half ago, former BlackRock fund manager, and he said that there is a monetary reset coming. There is something coming, and he said he thinks it's going to involve gold. Like the new reset is going to involve gold and silver as their tier 1 assets. He says he's watching central banks across the globe. They're continuing to buy up gold. Do you share that sentiment?
Because what else are they going to use? For years, there was an arrogance in the U.S. That the dollar's reserve status was sacrosanct. We didn't have to worry about it, or hubris, because there was no substitute.
Right.
It's like, there is no alternative. Tina, right, is like, we're the cleanest dirty shirt in the hamper. What are they going to use? The euro? They're going to use the yen? They're going to use the, so they thought we just won by default.
Yeah.
And I kept saying, no, because there's one monetary instrument that is not in that hamper, and that's gold. Gold is pristine. And so the alternative to the dollar is gold. Now, there were some people that were saying, no, it's Bitcoin. The central banks are going to turn to Bitcoin. Yeah,
they hype that. That's why this matters. This is why the whole Bitcoin gold story goes together. Because that was going to be the new way to reset the dollar. It was going to be some type of scheme involving Bitcoin, cryptos, Tether, and digital currency. And they really wanted to push that, but it looks like people ultimately aren't buying it, especially foreign countries.
Right. Well, there's no way these sovereign nations are going to pile their reserves into a fantasy made up money.
Right.
You know,
right.
And there's not enough liquidity. They're not the only country that did it was like El Salvador. And that was a publicity stunt to get the crypto industry to move to El Salvador. And it worked.
Yep.
And Bukele, I mean, look, to his credit, that has helped. Yes, wasting some money on Bitcoin. They lost some money on Bitcoin, but they made it on, tax revenue and businesses and jobs coming in from that community. Now, hopefully those investors, once they blow up in crypto, can stay there and do something else. But even Bukele really stopped buying Bitcoin.
Mining company.
And they passed a law that made Bitcoin legal tender. But yeah, they quietly repealed that. So it's like, it didn't work.
Wow.
Yeah, well, everybody, initially, if you were a merchant, you were required to accept Bitcoin. But the merchants didn't want it. So now they don't have to take it anymore.
Unbelievable. Peter Schiff, you are a treasure. You're an American treasure. I'm so thankful for your analysis. This audience absolutely loves you. I know you have another interview, so I want to let you go.
I do, right? It's after 1 o'clock. All right. Well, good luck with Alex Jones.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be super fun.
All right. I'll try to check it out. I can't watch it live because I got this other one.
You got your other thing. How can people find you?
Go to your Rumble channel.
Yeah, etc. Before I let you go.
All right. Take care.
Okay. We'll see you soon. Peter Schiff, the great Peter Schiff. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. Like I said, 1.5 million followers. It's absolutely amazing. Really thankful for Peter, his analysis, and everything that he brings to the SJ show. I think he's one of the only guys out there in finance with his head firmly on his shoulders. He's the only guy one of the only guys willing to tell the truth. We don't always get everything right. Analysis is not always correct, but he is telling hard truths that we're not hearing from either the left or the right, especially in financial media. So big thank you to Peter Schiff. So we're going to go to a quick break. I'm going to come back, take some of your comments and questions. Thank you everyone who's watching live right now on Twitter. Welcome to the SJ show. We're live every day from 12:15 p.m. Eastern time usually to about 1:30 p.m. Eastern time or 1:45. We go about 90 minutes every day. Not left, not right, just the truth straight up, no chaser. We are firmly independent on the Shannon Joy Show, news, culture, finance, you name it, we talk about it. And I'm going to be joining Alex Jones in just about 26 minutes, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to shut down the SJ live show. We're going to raid Alex Jones's Rumble audience. He usually has about 15 to 20,000 live viewers just on Rumble, which is like huge. So I'm going to send all of you guys, everyone on Rumble right now, if you're chatting, we're going to send you to Alex Jones's live chat, and then I'm going to join him. So this is going to be super, super fun. I have the link, and we're ready to go. I see some of your questions. How can we watch Shannon? Where is the link? Just follow the live chat or just look up Alex Jones on Rumble because I'll be on with him in just a minute. So that should be really, really fun. So quick commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to take your questions and comments, and we'll close down the show. Keep it tuned right here. Back in a minute on the Shannon Joy Show. Going on with the markets. It was really interesting. Take a look. Okay.
So the good news is I don't think the dollar is going away anytime soon. The bad news is there's a new monetary system coming. I don't know when, but it's going to involve gold because the signal is going to involve gold because central banks are acquiring gold. Commercial banks are acquiring gold because they made it tier 1 capital again, which is essentially the ability to create money from your gold. Okay. Before it was tier 3, they couldn't create reserves against it. Now they can. So I'm bullish the dollar long term until I see the charts break, and they haven't broken.
So the charts haven't broken, but there's a Dowd saying what so many are saying, that something new is coming. They are breaking the system. They're going to move us into something new. And many are saying that gold and silver, that's where they're going to reset things potentially. There's a lot of chaos out there in the world right now, and that's why I am hedging with gold and silver, physical gold and silver, and I also have a gold and silver IRA. Doesn't mean I don't have funds in other areas as well. I'm in land, real estate, I'm in cash, I'm in the stock market. I have a little bit in the stock market as well, but it is absolutely critical right now that people talk to a specialist, an analyst, your financial provider about putting together a gold and silver strategy to hedge against the chaos and insulate yourself from fiat currencies. The Schiff, Peter Schiff and the folks over at Schiff Gold are amazing partners of the Shannon Joy Show. I do all of my business with them. Peter Schiff is a regular guest on the Shannon Joy Show. I trust them for my gold strategy. And you can go to my page, schiffgold.com/joy. That is schiffgold.com/joy to get started right now. They know the Shannon Joy audience over at Schiff Gold. They take great care of this audience. And this is your opportunity to get started. You can call them. You can chat with them online, or you can trade emails with them, but they have every type of investment that you could be, or that you would be interested in terms of hedging. So yeah, you heard it from Ed Dowd, schiffgold.com/joy, schiffgold.com. Thank you to our sponsors. If you are in the market for anything over at the wellness company, so your ivermectin, your Fenben, your pharmaceutical products, if you need telehealth, if you need an emergency kit, anything that you need regarding health, pharmacy, and nutraceuticals, go to twc.health/joy and use my joy promo code every single time. A lot of you guys have prescriptions that you get every single month. If you switch over to TWC, some people can get free prescriptions, which is amazing. They have a great program there for you, and which is absolutely amazing. And every time you get that prescription, you're reminding them why they advertise. Thank you guys for the alarms. There we go. Forgot to turn the sound on. My bad. Thank you everyone for alerting me on the live chat that I forgot to turn my mic on. These are the perils of self-production. Appreciate all of you. Final segment of the Shannon Joy Show. Big thank you to Peter Schiff for joining us today. Really thankful for his sponsorship. Obviously, the sponsorship from the wellness company, Don Polano, PCM and Associates, and of course, the satellite phone store. We could not bring this show to all of you without our sponsors, and we are so thankful for them. So if you're in the market for any of their products or services, make sure that you use the Shannon Joy URL. Make sure that you use the JOY promo code so that you know that we sent you. Super thankful for all of you who are watching on YouTube today, Substack. We are growing those audiences. For those of you watching on Twitter right now, welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. If you like what you see, we're here every day, Monday through Thursday, live for about 90 minutes. News, politics, commentary, finance, foreign policy, you name it. We're discussing it here on the Shannon Joy Show from a non-partisan perspective, independent, not left, not right. I think both parties are equally corrupt. And so we apply principles to what is happening in the news and in our culture and in politics. We've been doing that for about 13 years here in the SJ Show, which is crazy. As you guys know, we're going to be joining Alex Jones in just about 20 minutes, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. And as you all know, Alex Jones has been a huge supporter of Donald Trump from the very beginning, really. And so, that led to a lot of critique from me here on the Shannon Joy Show over the past 10 years, because I rejected Donald Trump from the very beginning. I called him a Trojan horse, a New York City liberal Democrat. And I knew that he would gut the Republican Party, the conservative movement. And he did that in his first administration. Unfortunately, he was purchased by the tech bros in his second administration, and he is nailing the final nails in the coffin of the US as I speak to you today. So I was largely right in my analysis from the very beginning. I've been very consistent on that. So I was really, really excited to see that Alex Jones wanted to interview me. I'm not really sure what direction this interview is going to go in, but recently Alex Jones has very publicly, along with people like Thomas Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene and others, distancing and removing their support from President Trump. This is long time coming. This has necessarily had to happen. I have been waiting for this moment for more and more people on the right, but also the left, to wake up and realize, what this president has done to this country. And, not in isolation. When President Biden was in power and the Democrats had trifecta power for 4 years, on the Shannon Joy Show, we critiqued them every single day. We criticized them every single day for corruption, for the lockdowns, for the forced jabs, for continuing the rollout of Operation Warp Speed. Every single day we would critique the Biden administration. And I tried to apply principles to both administrations. Very, very few people do that today. And it's made me very lonely. It has denied, this show growth opportunities, which I willingly accept. That's a choice that I made. I'd rather be able to tell the truth to all of you and be myself every single day than have a big, huge platform show. There's a lot of risk for anyone who criticized Donald Trump. They were destroyed, smashed. They lost business deals, especially the second time around. So I understand all of that. But we maintained, I believe, our credibility here. So it's very exciting to me to move into new platforms with people who have big platforms and are in a truth space right now. So I am happy to join Alex. And I plan on Fez Woody talking extensively about the lockdowns and COVID and the death shots. That is one of the worst gaslighting initiatives by this government I've ever seen in my life. First, they locked us down and poisoned millions of Americans and tormented Americans with the military countermeasures that were deployed in the dark days of COVID lockdowns and then throughout the Biden administration. But even worse, once it all ended, they acted as if it has never happened. And now we're seeing new rounds of censorship on X, censorship of the vaccine injured. We're seeing the federal government now ramping up new orders for new COVID mRNA shots to be deployed for infants and adults. Massive order, 1.24 billion, I believe, from the federal government and an order from Pfizer. We're seeing the ramping up of mRNA technologies. You name it. We really aren't getting anything from this government but gaslighting. So that's actually something that I would love to talk to today with Alex Jones. So yeah, Fez Woody, I see you on the live chat. Mod Trend, Shannon, can you mute Alex? I don't know what is going to happen on this show. I really don't. Hi, Clones. I see you on the live chat. Mark the Regan, talking about central bank buying and selling of gold is essentially fraudulent. I've addressed that before, Mark the Regan, and I don't think so. I think they're buying actual gold and silver. I'm pretty sure they're buying actual gold and silver. But if you have a source, if you have someone that you want to link me to on that topic, I can take a look at it. And we can maybe do that on a subsequent show. Hey, LT Oracle of Truth, great to see you. If you guys are watching on Rumble, please give the show a thumbs up and join the live chat. It helps us to grow. So tomorrow, medical freedom update. Nick Holscher will be with me live in the Joy virtual studio to talk about medical freedom. And we have some other great shows lined up for this week as well. So we are launching the week. A great interview with Peter Schiff. If you missed it, go back and rewatch this again. Mr. Worthless Eater, I see you on the live chat as well. We're going to shut down the Shannon Joy Show now, and I'm going to prepare to join Alex on his show at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Guitar Lily. Shannon, be prepared for constant interruptions by Alex. Take notes so that you don't use your place, and keep pushing back at his interruptions. Who knows? Fez Woody, gold is an ancient relic, a really valuable ancient relic. Very valuable. I agree with you. That's why I own gold. That's why I've always been interested in owning gold. Bill Benz, great to see you on the live chat as well. And yeah, I just hope that we can get to some truth. Mark the Regan, Shannon, be feisty. Of course I'm going to be feisty. Come on now. It's going to be a good conversation. I was going to really prepare for it. And then I figured, like, I'm just going to go be myself. Let the conversation go where the conversation goes. And maybe try to get to some truths, right? I really, like, my number one mission with this show, at least at this moment in time, is to push as many people out of the fake ass two-party political paradigm, the uniparty electoral system, which forces us to choose a lesser of two evils every election cycle. And we've been doing that now for the better part of 60 to 70 years. And that's why everything is so bad, because we are now left with just plain evil. Because we keep engaging in this fake two-party system, they are on the same team. The debates between the left and the right are manufactured debates. It's not real. Each administration operates pretty much identically to the administration previous, whether it's D or R, in terms of the things that matter. The growth of the military-industrial complex, the growth of the relationship with Israel, endless wars, endless money printing, and corrupt monetary policy, profligate spending, massive bills that are enriching cronies rather than actually dedicated to governing this country, a ripping away of sovereignty from individual Americans, an establishment of tyranny and surveillance at every turn using fear and manufactured crises. We have all of this, a seizure of power from local and state governments, centralized in Washington, D.C., which is upside down. It's not the way the founders wrote the Constitution. It's not the way the framers of the Constitution saw this country to be governed. Robust state power, very little itty bitty amounts of power at the federal level. That's completely upside down. And both parties are complicit in pushing all of those things. They just slap their brand on whatever it is and trick people into these false arguments and these false choices. So that is my mission in life. I mean, we need to rip this Band-Aid off, and we need to break the Trump cult. We need to break the Trump cult once and for all. And Alex Jones is a big part of that. He contributed to suppressing primaries. He contributed to pushing out a theme of inevitability for Donald Trump. He contributed to covering up for Donald Trump and in his administration when they broke promises, when they engaged in rug pulling. He did that in the first administration and for a time in his second administration. And, I'm really thankful that he's out of that space now. And I think that his voice is very important in waking up other people out of the Trump cult. So this is why I think it's important to talk to him. I want to talk to him. And I have a lot of grace for people who come to the truth space at different times and for different reasons. Everyone believes that they know what is motivating people. I really have no idea. I'm not in the inner sanctum. I'm not in the back rooms. I don't know if Alex is. But when people are telling the truth, I'm going to be aligning with them. And so we're going to see how this goes today. And I think it's going to be really interesting. All right. So, yes, LT Oracle of Truth. That's how we originally got connected. Alex Jones pushed out a couple of weeks ago one of my short videos, my reels, where I called out the data centers for not being about data centers or compute. It's about the land. And he pushed that out and then invited me on the show. So I think it's going to be really fun, really interesting. And we are 10-minute countdown. So we're going to close up the show today. Thank you guys for being with us here on the Shannon Joy Show. We'll be back tomorrow for a full 90 minutes. When I close the show down, I'm going to raid Alex Jones's audience, and then I'm going to hop on his feed. So you guys can watch the show on Rumble as part of my live chat, or you can watch, I believe he's live on Twitter and a bunch of other platforms as well. So this is going to be really fun. Really cool day today and a really fun collaboration. So thanks everyone for being with us today. Green Tea 369, where can we watch your interview live? Right here on Rumble. I'm going to raid Alex Jones's Rumble audience right here on Rumble. In fact, Alex is live right now. And so I'm going to be joining his stream midstream. So that's how you can watch Green Tea 369. And I'm pretty sure he's on all the other platforms as well. All right. So thank you guys for being with us today. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all again on the Shannon Joy Show.